a man, like for me, like I have my convictions, like my beliefs, and I'm firm on them.
Sure.
You know, and they're grounded in what I believe is the best foundation we all have.
Yep.
But at the same time, you know, you can't mistake an empathy as weakness, because empathy is, like we were talking before, it's understanding where people come from, but not falling away from your beliefs and not saying what they're doing is okay. Like, empathetic to them doesn't mean that what they're doing is okay. It's just understanding where they come from.
Welcome to Courageous Stewards, the podcast where legacy meets leadership.
We believe stewardship isn't just about managing resources. It's about multiplying impact, honoring purpose, and building with eternity in mind. Each week, we dive into business-focused discussions on real estate investing on a foundation of faith and family.
We have a desire to inspire listeners with a heart to reclaim their time, talents, and treasures for something greater. Whether you're growing your portfolio, leading a business, or a family, we need to become the best version of ourselves.
This is your space to gain wisdom, walk in courage, and steward what matters most.
Let's build what lasts. Let's lead with love.
Let's become courageous stewards.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. We're here at the Courageous Stewards podcast again, and we've got a special one here today with the hometown celebrity here. We got Jon Niese. Jon Niese was born out in Lima, originally moved up to Defiance and was raised and went to high school at Defiance High School. He was drafted to the MLB in 2005 and got on the mound in 2008. So I don't want to share too much more than that. So we're going to just dive back here and have Jon tell us a little bit about his story, when he realized that he maybe had a shot at the big time in the pro baseball series, and then what his experience was like as an athlete. So Jon, why don't you dive in and tell us a little bit about that? And thanks for being on the podcast also.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So when I really first realized I had the potential to actually get drafted, you know, pitching in the big leagues is like, that's something like, even when you get drafted, you know, the odds are way against you, because you go into the minor leagues and everyone there is good. Like, I thought I was good in high school, and then when you actually get drafted and you're playing with, you know, high level guys that, you know, get paid to do what they do, you kind of like sit there and like, man, I, you know, really got to work at this. It was the winter before my junior year. I went to a showcase. It was the Buckeye Scouts showcase in Bucyrus. And I think Coach Held had informed me about it, just said, hey, yeah, go to it, see what, you know, see how you do. There was Major League Scouts there. There was college coaches there, recruiting. And it was just in a gym. Like, it was nothing special. They set up, I think, 2 or 3 mounds. There was an area where you could, you know, get loose, play catch, and went into it thinking, you know, because before then I was a sophomore, only throwing maybe topped out at 80, 81, and you know, but I was going through Coach Held's, you know, program, like his throwing program, his lifting program, and so I went to the showcase, warmed up, and I was like, I feel pretty good. And so it got my chance to go on the mound, and I'll never forget it too. It was crazy. They had some of the major league roving scouts that were there, kind of manning the mounds, like kind of talking to us, like talking us through, you know, throwing the bullpen. And just so happened the scout that was behind mine mound talking to me was a Met scout.
No way.
So
wow.
it's kind of, you know, I don't think that they knew they were going to draft me at that point, but it was just kind of a coincidence. But so anyway, I get up on the mound, and they had it to where there was all the scouts. They had radar guns behind the screen behind the catcher. And they had the screens to where you could see how hard you were throwing behind the screen, behind the catcher. So the first pitch I threw, I'm like, I wasn't throwing my hardest. I was kind of just getting my bearings on the mound. And I looked up, and it was like 81. And I'm like, I barely threw that. Like 81, that's the hardest I've ever thrown in my life. And then, so I'm like, okay. Then I get up, I'm going to try to throw it a little bit harder. And the next thing you know is like 85. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the hardest I've ever thrown. And I'm like, I'm not even throwing that hard. Like, I feel like I can cut loose and throw harder. So I just kept throwing each pitch through harder and harder. So hitting 80, 88, 87. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to cut loose. And then next thing I know, I hit 91. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I thought the gun was off. Like, I didn't
check your calibration.
Yeah,
that can't be right.
So then I'm like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, I just kept going, and I'm like, next one's 90. And then it was like 91, 89, 90. Then I'm like, and then one of them 92, 93, 91, 92, and after that it was like I'm consistently throwing over 90.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. So after I get off the mound, I go up into the stands. My dad was there, and I was talking to some other players, and I asked him, like, do you think those guns are right? Like, because there like everybody else was in like the low to mid 80s.
That's what I was going to
There
ask.
was-
How was everybody else
There
throwing?
was one guy there. He had hit 91, and he's never hit 90 before either. So I was like, maybe they aren't right, but they were right. And then after that, I remember calling Coach Held, and I told him all about it, and he was going ecstatic over the phone, and he's like, "What, are you kidding me?" And this and that. And so that's kind of when I knew, like, okay, this might be for real. And then going into my junior year, kept working, and then during the season, we always radar every game, and I was in the low 90s every game. And then obviously when you go to those showcases and you're a lefty hitting in the low 90s,
that's a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal, and then now my name's on the scouts radar, on all the colleges coaches radar. So I was getting letters in the mail, phone calls almost every day. So that's kind of when I knew it was possible. But Coach Held did a really good job of instilling work ethic in me. So I always continued to worked harder, and then had my year as a senior year, and then got drafted, and the rest was history. But
You had a really good senior year too, didn't you?
yeah.
Okay.
I think I was, not getting into stats. I think I was 12-0 with a .09 ERA.
0.78 is what we read.
I think it was .09.
Really?
Yeah.
They had it wrong then.
Yeah,
but
0.09.
I think I heard you gave up one earned run.
One earned run.
Yeah.
And it was a home run against Delta. I'll never forget it.
Really?
Wind was blowing out like crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was a fly ball, and then the wind just
carried.
just carried. But,
Yeah.
But
So do you
he
think
still
that-
got it good.
Do you think that that initial pitching competition thing that you went to, it was like adrenaline that kind of amped you up and then gave you the confidence from that point forward? You're like, whoa, I can do this.
Yeah, maybe. The thing is like Coach Held's baseball program was second to none.
Oh, yeah.
The way we work, like the way he worked us in the off season, the throwing program. I mean, he instilled into us to cut loose and do everything with 100% effort. I mean, because, the coaches, anytime a coach coaches you, he can't coach effort. Like the effort's got to be from the kid.
Right.
And I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where it clicked, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough to explain, but I think just everything accumulating together, the work ethic, the throwing program, the adrenaline, just everything kind of worked together.
So, I mean, you certainly have an incredible amount of talent, a level of talent that a lot of kids just don't have to start. No matter how much you try to get there, some kids just are never going to get there, unfortunately, as much as you want to. But that coupled with being a left-hander, being in a program with a coach who was a professional athlete as well, instilled great work ethic in you guys, and everything. I think all of those things coupled really helped you to elevate to your premium potential, I guess.
Right. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm that great of an athlete. Don't get me wrong, I'm a good athlete, but I think the thing with Coach Held's program is like he creates the athletes. Like before he does any fundamental work, like in the winter program, very rarely do we do any baseball stuff. I mean, that program is basically he's creating an athlete. He's trying to bring out the best athlete in every kid that potentially they have. So for me, there's a lot of guys that I played with, like in the minor leagues and the big leagues, where they're just natural athletes. A lot of the Latin guys, they're just natural athletes. Like genetically, they have it.
Yep.
To where for me, I feel like I had to work to become a good athlete, work to get to reach my ceiling. Because you're right, every kid has a ceiling. Some kids' ceiling might be only 80 mile an hour. Some kids' ceiling might be 92 mile an hour, but it's up to them to get to that ceiling. And what Coach Held does really, really well is he gets the guys to their ceiling.
Yeah.
So, and I think that there's a lot more kids that have a lot higher ceilings than they think they do, to be honest with you.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of kids at that junior, senior age, they don't have the best work ethic, and they don't have someone surrounding them who can pull the best out of them, and so they sort of settle for less than their best.
Right.
Yeah. And I think Coach Held probably is exactly the opposite of that. He doesn't allow you to settle for anything less than your best.
Yeah. And that's one thing he always said, never be satisfied, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. If you think your ceiling's only this, believe it's up here.
Pursue more.
Pursue more.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did that transition also when you got into the minors with your coaching staff there and then the major leagues? Did they handle it a lot the same way that Coach Held did?
Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of minor league coaches that sincerely had the best interest of the player. Okay. But there's a lot of coaches that had, they want to go up in the ranks just like players do in coaching. So they're trying to put their stamp on players. So when the players go up, they can say, okay, I did that. I got him to rise through the levels.
Yeah.
So then now they can rise through the levels coaching.
Interesting.
So for me, it was like, coachability is huge. Like always be willing to learn something new, be coachable. With that being said, you kind of have to let some things go in one ear and out the other, or let them go in one ear, try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, let it go out the other ear. Yeah. Because, there's a lot of pushing and pulling players with the coaches in the minor leagues, especially the big leagues. Everybody kind of has everything established at that point. Okay. So where the coaches basically, they recognize what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and then they basically help them. They help the players get the best out of their strengths.
Yeah.
So you've got to balance talent, confidence, and humility all the time.
Yeah.
To keep going up and being willing. And so looking back, did you see a lot of your peers resting on their talent too much without putting as much effort in as maybe it took to rise up and to become, your best? Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of the Latin guys, that's all they have is talent. And they basically, that's what got them there. And they're going to ride that out. Yeah. And then there's a lot of guys where I've seen where they get to the minor league level, they're playing baseball professionally, that's their job, and then they just fold. They can't handle it. They can't handle the pressure, or they don't realize how good they are, and then they freak out. And then there's some guys that probably have 100 times the talent I could ever dream of, but he can't get through the minor league system because he just can't take the pressure. He can't, he doesn't know how to work at it. He doesn't there's a lot of variables. Like when you're 18 years old, just out of high school, going, and now you're on your own playing ball for a living, it's like there's a lot of pressure there.
It's a big jump.
Yeah.
We talk about being afraid of failure, but also equally being afraid of success.
Yeah, right.
Because
Yeah.
you just don't know really what it's going to look like.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
get into it.
Yeah.
So,
But what I loved about the Mets is like, so they had what was called instructional league.
Okay.
We called it Instructs. So it was after the season, you went back down to Florida at the spring training facility and worked a little bit more on your craft. Well, they would bring in former players. They would bring in, a lot of, and we would kind of have conference room talks about, I'll never forget it. One of the talks was the big league life, like as you move up the ranks, what it's like to be in the big leagues. And I remember going back to my locker like, man, I need to get to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Because the minor leagues was not it. Like that's not the life.
what was the differentiating factor between the two that made you go, I want majors?
Just the way you got treated. You were treated like a king. Every city you went to, you stay in the best hotels. You get charter flights you got meals on the planes. You got all the catered meals. Just all the big league life. The way they explained it. You don't carry your bags. You don't touch your bags at all. You don't pack your bags. The only thing you worry about in the big leagues is performing. That's it.
Makes sense.
That's it. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. Because like in the minor leagues, you do everything. Everything is on your own. You pack your bags, you carry your bags. You find out where you're gonna stay. You find out where you're gonna live, where you're gonna eat. All the meal. Like it's a different life, and there's a lot of stresses. And like we were talking before, you only get like my first year in the minor leagues, I was getting paid $1,100 a month. That was before taxes.
That's incredible.
So my checks were like
bad.
barely over $200-$300. Like
Right.
it was, and like that it's tough to live off of. And like if it wasn't for my signing bonus, it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how guys do it. But
There are kids working fast food nowadays that make more than that.
yeah, of course,
A month.
right?
So that's
Yeah. Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's just as much a mental game as it is the
Absolutely.
physical game, and maybe even more so.
Oh, yeah.
At that level.
Absolutely. And like I said, I've seen guys with 100 times my talent, fold and can't handle it, and they go home.
So I want to dive into that right there, because we were just talking about wanting that life, that pressure, that kind of success, really. I mean, like that's pretty incredible what you've done to get on the mound in professional baseball, which is amazing. How did you process through that level of success and stay diligent and stay in it without being shook or being like, this is too much?
Well, I think I just revert back to what Coach Held taught us. I mean, he was big into the mental aspect of the game. Like our winter workouts, like he would break us mentally. Like he would put us through some grueling workouts and make us understand. I don't want to compare it to like the Navy SEAL training, but it's kind of the same thing, only at a smaller scale, to where, he's basically trying to teach us that we're more capable than what we think we are. Mm-hmm. And, baseball's a hard game, like very hard game. And, you fail a lot more than you succeed. And you have to be mentally tough to be able to handle those failures. And going through the workouts and the program that Coach Held put us through helped us with that, getting through tough times.
That's good.
It's going to be tough, but you're capable of doing it, and you're going to get through it, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Man,
like
that's good stuff.
But going through that kind of helped me get through the tough times of the minor leagues and even the big leagues. I mean, there's, the big leagues is tough too.
Oh yeah.
Everybody is at the top of their game, and
You have to remain there.
Of course. Yeah.
You don't perform for a very short period of time, and they're looking at taking you back down to the minors.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, that's what they say. They say it's not easy to get to the big leagues, but it's a lot easier to get to the big leagues than it is to stay. Mm-hmm. So,
unless you're one of those very few that just create a name for yourself that's known worldwide, I can imagine.
Right.
But how many of that? Albert Pujols or the, Barry Bonds. There's just not that many of them out there.
Gosh,
Right.
yeah.
Dude,
Very
that's
few.
well, they're talented. number one.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really talented, but it's the confidence. It's knowing that they're good. It's not an arrogance, but it's a confidence, and knowing that when things go bad, because things go bad in baseball. Sure. That's the life of baseball. That you can get through it. You're good enough. You can get through it. You'll be okay. Yeah. And you go out, you flush it, go to the next game, and things are going to work out.
That's life.
Of course.
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
that translates over into pretty much any circumstance, situation, or life that you're dealing with. You're going to go through ebbs and flows of positivity and great times, and then also challenging times. And that mental capacity to handle both ends of that spectrum are they can break some people, and then they can challenge other people to be better and greater. And you see a lot of times those people that are able to handle those challenging circumstances are some of the most successful people, not just in athletics, which is what we're talking about right now, but also in business and family situations. You have
to reframe failure in your mind, like it sounds like Coach was doing for you, was showing you it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Because,
opportunity to do better next time.
The opposite of failure is success.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to fail in order to succeed.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back just a little bit about hometown. I know we've started off with the whole baseball theme and everything, but do you have like a memory or a series of memories or something hometown related that is a memory for you that you can kind of think back and, maybe something cool or fun?
Man. I don't know.
We love stories.
You can't tell us anything from Sandlot. You're gonna have to. We want to know something from you.
To be honest with you, me and my buddy always ask, like, what's the best age to live? Like, if you could live at one age for the rest of your life, what age would it be? And most people are like, oh yeah, 22, 23, 21. It's like, yeah, you get a party, drink, and this and that. But for me, 12 years old.
Yeah.
If I could be one age for the rest of my life, 12 years old. Because not worrying about girls, not worrying about family stuff, like family responsibilities.
Yeah.
You wake up every day, just you have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun with your buddies, sleepovers with your buddies. In Little League, we were the highest age, so Little League's 9 to 12. Like, we were the kings in Little League.
Yeah.
Like, it is like we just had fun. Like, that's like the age where you just have fun. There's no worries.
Yeah.
No worries in the world. And for me, like, just going back, my 12-year-old year, like, in Little League, going to all the Little League tournaments, having fun with my buddies. That's what it was all about. I mean, that's what I remember most, honestly.
So
cool.
Did you said you have some family that's still in Putnam County and some, down south and stuff, but you grew up in Defiance, right? Your family lived in Defiance, town or country? Or?
So I was born in Lima. My family, we lived, I don't remember this because I was so young, but we lived in Miller City, Lipsick area. Okay. And then we moved, we actually moved to Defiance for a little bit, and then we moved to outside of Paulding, and then we moved back to Defiance. So I was probably 7 or 8 when I moved to Defiance for good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that because of baseball or no?
No, my parents' jobs.
Got it.
Yeah, my mom, she was an accountant here at Luderman and Cons for a while, and then she got a job at Johns Manville. Okay. My dad worked at the Defiance College. He actually started at Star Lumber over, I think it was on Baltimore Avenue.
Not there anymore.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Okay.
That's back in the day.
Yeah.
And then he got a job at the Defiance College.
Okay.
He worked maintenance there. So, both of their jobs were in Defiance. So they bought a house in Defiance, and that's where I lived since I was, probably 7 or 8 years old.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that you have an older brother. Do you have any other siblings, or is it just the two of you?
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister.
Oh, so there's 5 of you?
5 of us, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
My oldest brother, he lives actually right next to the ranch down in Athens. He's a guidance counselor down there.
Okay. Which we're going to talk about here in a little bit,
Yeah.
that whole thing. So
And,
that's cool. But, all right.
And then my younger sister, she lives in Wellston, so it's about a half hour down there.
Okay.
And that's a lot of the reason why my family moved down there, is because they wanted to move closer to her.
Yeah.
And then my youngest brother, he goes to OU.
He's still in college.
Ohio University.
Got it.
He's still in college.
Okay.
And then my second youngest brother, he actually lives in Austin. He's got his PhD. He graduated from University of Texas. So
Wow.
yeah.
His PhD,
Yeah, his
dadgum, that's
PhD.
great.
Yep.
Wow.
He lives down in Austin.
Okay. So while you were playing pro ball, did you have an apartment in New York, or did you live there, or
When I was in the big leagues,
forth?
yeah, I had an apartment.
Okay. But you weren't married at that time yet, were you?
I didn't get married till I was into 2013.
Okay.
But I had met my wife in end of 2009, so we were together in 2010. So
Got it.
pretty much my whole big league career.
You guys were together.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. That's cool. So back to the whole big league thing, I got to ask the question, like, you've met a lot of people through your athletic career. Is there somebody or a couple people that you like thought, wow, like I never thought I would have an opportunity to meet Nolan Ryan, or I don't know, anybody.
There's so many.
I believe it. At that level, you kind of have ability to meet anybody, really.
Yeah, I would say probably the coolest. And I actually got to work with him. I was throwing a bullpen, and Terry's actually good friends with Sandy Koufax.
No way.
So I was throwing a bullpen. I turned around. Terry's like, I need to introduce you to somebody. Sandy Koufax. I'm like, what? How you doing? Hey. And he was watching my bullpen, and he was kind of showing me. He loved my curveball, but he was kind of showing me how he threw his. And when I tell you his hands are probably twice the size of mine.
Really?
He had crazy big hands. But like the way he taught me how he threw the curveball, and like the finger pressure and all that stuff, and just things I never even thought about. Like, you know, for me, my curveball was like, okay, I grip it this way and I just throw the heck out of it.
Yeah.
But he actually kind of showed me how to throw a curveball.
Okay.
Like, and ever since then, that I threw my curveball that way, and it's helped a lot.
No kidding.
But it was cool. That was one of the coolest. I mean, I met Yogi Berra. That was pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
But I met him at a golf outing. I mean, everybody.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, it's just it was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yogi Berra, I don't know if you're not a big baseball guy.
I'm not a big
You're kind of
baseball
wrapping
guy.
your mind around this whole thing, but yeah, Yogi Berra has all kinds of quotes that everybody hears now all the time that are weird, like the "It ain't over till it's over."
Yeah,
that was Yogi Berra.
Right. But my first manager was Gary Carter.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was a very team oriented manager. Like he was like the Herb Brooks of. Like he was intense, like an intense manager, and like he was one where like he truly cared about the player, and like he wanted to bring the best out of every single player. But he was a team first guy. But I mean, he's a catcher. He's a Hall of Fame catcher. That's Hall of Fame catchers are, and you know he won the '86 World Series with the Mets.
Yeah,
like they're ultimate team guys. So
yeah, that's cool. Why don't we transition kind of to when you transitioned out of baseball and what that looked like?
A lot of times in like business and even in real estate, it's a timing thing. And so going through what you did and being where you were, that transition and that timing still has a lot of impact in regards to when you're competing and when it's time to hang up the cleats. What did that all look like for you?
Yeah, so actually getting into the big leagues was kind of perfect timing. It was, you know, I was pitching really well in the minor leagues, in AA and AAA, moving up the ladder, and then some of the big league guys were getting hurt, so they needed somebody to kind of come in, and you know, it's kind of one of them things. It was like a perfect storm to where it was like I was pitching well, they were on a playoff run, they needed the best pitcher to come up, and you know they gave me an opportunity. And I had some hiccups early on, but then, they probably just saw my potential and kind of kept giving me opportunities. But getting my foot in the door to the big leagues was just a perfect timing thing, and that was a perfect example of timing is everything. But yeah.
And then you got, what was it like that moment? Because I gotta imagine the build up, the draft, the training. But then you go out for your opening time on the mound. number one, like what's going on in your mind on time number one on the mound, and you're about to throw it. Like, what was that like?
I mean, my legs were jello. The only time I've ever felt that again in my career was in the World Series, to where just the nerves are overwhelming. My legs are jello, my whole body's jello. And at that point, muscle memory takes over. You just like stop thinking about everything and just go out there and pitch.
Yeah.
Like compete. And then that's the only thing that I really thought of in those two situations is like muscle memory's taken over. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not thinking about mechanics. Taking the ball, catcher's putting a sign down. Okay, I'm executing this pitch and I'm like giving it everything I got.
Yeah.
And that's all I can think about. Not thinking about, okay, how am I going to get this guy out? It's like, no, catcher's putting down a sign.
The next pitch.
I'm executing this pitch. That's it. That's all I was thinking about. Because if I had to try to think about anything else in the state that I was in, it would have just been a snowball.
Yeah.
It would have been a nightmare.
I can imagine that's why
Yeah.
a lot of athletes struggle so bad, because they have a hard time putting those blinders on
Yeah.
when it comes to the big leagues and all of the surroundings and playing in front of 80,000 people or whatever, you know.
Well, then they overthink it. They
Yeah.
think they have to do more than what they're capable of. And
Yeah.
That's very cool. So you're up there. You've had a pretty successful career in baseball, which is incredible. Just getting in baseball, you talked earlier about the odds of getting on the mound. I mean, it's 1 in like 6,500 have a chance at getting on the mound in the MLB. So you go through your career, and then you're getting to the end, and then it's time to hang it up. What did that look like?
Well, it was kind of a long process, and it was hard, because obviously I got a family. They're all growing up. I got hurt when I was with the Pirates. I tore my meniscus. I tried rehabbing through it. They didn't do surgery, which hindsight, I wish I would have. I wish I would have just shut it down, got surgery, and then rehab,
the following
come back,
season.
yeah. But my competitive nature, I wanted to be out there pitching.
Yeah.
And so I kept pitching. The knee got worse. Ended up basically fraying my meniscus. I had no meniscus left. The cartilage on my bones was shriveled to nothing. So I had bone-on-bone arthritis.
Oh, my.
Oh, geez.
And it was my push-off leg, so I had no power. So ended up, the Pirates traded me back to the Mets, pitched for a month there, and then my knee just kept getting worse and worse. So they actually did surgery to my knee, but it was way too late. My meniscus was gone. So they declined my option. So I'm figuring out what the heck am I going to do? The Yankees signed me to spring training, kept trying to pitch through my knee. Didn't work. So I'll never forget, I was talking to the Yankees doctor. They did an MRI on my knee because I'm like, every time I pitch, like I can pitch, but it hurts every time. So they did an MRI on it, and the doctor comes in. I was like, hey, how's it look? He's like, your knee looks great if you're 65 years old.
Oh, no.
and needed your
That
knee
sounds like,
replaced.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh crap, that's not good. It's like, yeah, you're
That's crazy.
yeah, you have no meniscus, you have no cartilage, you have bone-on-bone arthritis. It's like, he's like, I don't understand how you're even on the mound doing what you're doing. He's like, I don't even know how you're walking really without a limp. And I'm like, yeah, it hurts. It hurts all the time. So the Yankees ended up releasing me, and I asked that doctor what he suggested me do. He's like, well, you need stem cell therapy, like where they pull out the stem cells from my bone marrow and then inject it into my knee, and that kind of helps build. It doesn't build the cartilage, but it kind of builds,
Like
regenerates that cushion around my knee to where I don't have bone on bone. So after I did that, I'm like, geez, I feel like a new man. Like I feel good.
So it helped.
It helped. It helped for like all my day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
But then I went and got back on the mound, and it still didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I had the power. Every time I worked out, like my knee would just shut down. But I could still pitch, and I could pitch effectively, but not to the level where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rangers signed me in spring training, and there I actually tore my shoulder. So they ended up releasing me out of spring training. I rehabbed that, came back. No teams were going to give me a chance after 2 injuries like that. So I had to prove myself. So I went and signed with the Long Island Ducks in Indy ball.
Okay.
So I was there for spring training, working out with Long Island Ducks, and I was throwing a bullpen. One of the Mariner scouts was there. They had a lot of injuries. Like all their prospects were hurt in their system, and they needed arms. So the Mariners signed me in 2019, went to AAA trying to get back. And Pacific Coast League, that's a tough league to pitch in. So I was doing okay. I mean, I wasn't doing anything crazy good. I thought there was one opportunity where I could get called back up to the big leagues, but it didn't work out. So all their prospects got healthy again, and they released me. So I was kind of at the point where, like, now what?
Yeah.
Sitting at home, kept throwing. And this is 2019, ended up a Dominican team. I signed in the Dominican Winter League.
Okay.
And pitched for a team where I actually pitched really well. Like down there, I mean, I was hitting 90.
Nice.
I mean, my ERA was below 3. I'm like, it was good.
Was that weather related?
I don't
You
know.
think? You don't know?
It
Okay.
just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Significantly
know.
different weather there.
Maybe
but-
I was gaining my strength back, and I was
okay.
coming back. And then the following year, COVID hit. And then nobody was playing baseball.
Right.
It was to the point where I was able to pitch. I was good, but getting older, like it took a lot in between starts to get ready for the next start. And it was like, man, it still hurt sometimes. Some days were better than others, but it was to the point where like COVID hit and nobody was playing ball. I made the decision, like, I'm done. Like I don't want to put, my family's my kids are getting older. They're starting to play sports. I don't want to put my body through this anymore. And I just decided, move on.
Yeah. So were these some conversations that you and your wife had collectively? Like,
Yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
think that...
It was very hard for us. The big league life, it's a good life.
Sure.
Like the money's good. Like it's a good life. And then now all of a sudden it's like, it's over. And it's like, when you're there in the moment, it's like, man, this is, I can do this forever. But it's like, you got to come to the realization that it's not forever. So there's a few years where it was tough for us, like trying to get in the swing of things outside of baseball. But we're in a really good spot right now.
So while you're playing ball, your wife is taking care of, you had 4 kids at this point that were kind of growing up. She's primarily taking care of them because you're on the road playing ball, traveling, all that kind of stuff. I can imagine that would be extremely challenging.
Yeah.
What brought you back to the greater Toledo area?
That's where my wife is from.
Oh,
so my wife is from Oregon. She went to Clay.
Okay.
So her whole family's there. So that's where we decided.
Okay. Right on. Right on. You guys built a house kind of.
Yeah, we live right on the lake.
On the lake. Okay.
Yep, right next to Maumee Bay State Park.
Cool. So tell us about your wife and your kids. What do you love about your wife? And
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a great mom.
What's her name?
Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting John come be with us today.
Yeah. She's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
she does all the day-to-day stuff that I don't think about. To make everything go, the appointments, the just scheduling everything, like stuff that I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But like she takes care of everything, and she's amazing.
Yeah. And then you have 4 kids. Is it 2 boys and 2 girls?
2 boys, 2 girls.
Okay.
My oldest daughter, she's 12. She dances at the dance factory.
So cool.
So we go to dance competitions almost every weekend.
Okay.
She's really good. She's really good.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
And then my oldest son, he's 10. He's playing hockey now, but he plays hockey and baseball.
Okay.
And my youngest son, he's 5, so next year he'll be into kindergarten, so he'll be starting t-ball here soon. And we're not sure his kind of how interested he is in sports yet, but we'll see. And then my youngest daughter, she's 2.
She's 2.
Oh yeah.
So that's a fun age.
Oh yeah.
That's a crazy age,
Very
but
fun
that's
age.
fun.
Yep,
That's
very
fun.
age.
I had a similar situation. My son is now 15. He'll be turning 16 here shortly. And for the life of me, I tried so hard to get him to play ball.
Yeah.
Because that was my world. I loved baseball and the camaraderie of the teammates and the fun in the sport and everything. he hated it. He's not that kind of an athlete.
Well, right, and that's the biggest thing. Like parents, like if the kids don't enjoy the sport, do not force them to play.
Right.
Like it's you have to find out what they love to do and then support them through what they love to do.
Truth.
Because you're setting them up for failure in life, because now you're teaching them that, you know, they're just confused because they want to go a certain direction, but they're not sure that they're supposed to. And it's like they really like I really want to be an engineer. I want to be an architect. But you know, when I was growing up, I was supposed to do this, and it's like it kind of like slows them down to like what their drive is. So it's like parenting for me. It's like you got to find out what your kids love and support them.
So good, because you're taking away their ability to give themselves permission to do the thing that they're built to do.
Right, exactly.
Whatever the gifting is that God gave you, you are supposed to align with that, and you'll thrive. You'll find success there.
It's true.
Of course.
So that was something I struggled with even in my career in recent years, was not giving myself permission. I was waiting for somebody else, like, you're a leader now, or you have this, or you get that promotion, or you're going to be that person you've been waiting to be. And then when I stopped waiting for that permission and just took it, and I'm like, no, I can do this. I am wired this way. And I pushed into it. So I really totally agree with what you're saying about creating an atmosphere that gives the kids that permission, so that mentally they're aware that, like, I don't need somebody to tell me that I'm qualified or not.
Right. Yeah. And you're basically you're their spiritual coach. You're their moral coach. Making sure they're doing everything the right way, but it's not up to you to decide what their passion is.
That's good.
In life. You know,
That is so true, man.
So
That is so true.
yeah. And if what they want to do is obviously morally wrong, then that's where you step in and guide them that way. But yeah, if they want to be anything, like I said, architect, engineer, if they want to play sports, if they want to play basketball, if they want to play hockey, if they want to play anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recognizing you can change it anytime.
Of course.
Everybody has a finite mindset.
Right.
Like, if I do this, like, they always want to have these 18-year-olds figure out what they want to do till
For
they
the
retire.
rest of their
It's like,
life.
they're 18.
Yeah, right.
Leave room. Like, okay, go try that for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you suck at it. You failed. That's fine. Let's move on. What's
Yeah,
next? Try
you're
that
still
thing.
young.
Yeah.
You're still young.
Okay, that's kind of working, but still not quite it. Try this other thing.
Yeah.
We need to have room to do that, and that's a great segue into this next point, because you're a perfect example of pivoting later in
Yeah.
life. Because you had a successful career as a pro baseball player, and now you're doing something very different. So let's dive into what you're involved in now, business-wise, that looks quite a bit different, I would say, from what you were doing on the mound.
Yeah, so I loved hunting growing up. You know, my whole family hunted. My dad got me into hunting. So now I have a deer farm and a hunting preserve down in Athens. And it was just kind of one of them things where I bought a cattle farm down in Athens, strictly just for hunting land. I wanted to buy hunting land that was a possible investment opportunity. We kept the cattle. My dad ran the cattle. We had about 350 head of cattle. I went down there to help him. The cattle, if anybody knows the cattle business, it's up and down. It's very volatile, a lot of hard work. I had a 7,000 square foot lodge that I bought right next to the ranch. Just kind of one of them timing things where the timing was perfect for me to be able to invest in that property. And I met a guy who managed that property for me, Airbnb'd it, and then he showed me that the deer farm property in Logan, asked if I wanted to invest with him in it, and I thought it was a good idea. So I jumped into the deer farming industry and studied the pedigrees, studied the auctions, studied all the aspects of it, because if I jump into something, I want to be the best at it. Like, that's just that's how I'm wired. That's how I am.
Sure.
So did a lot of research, ended up hiring a farm manager down there, started building the business. And then I realized through the deer industry, the other side of the industry is the hunting preserves. They stock the preserves with the does and the bucks with the best genetics in the world, so they can grow big deer. So I ended up making the decision. I sold all the cattle. I sold the lodge, and I turned my farm into a hunting preserve. And I built a new lodge there, and I started selling hunts. and got to meet new people. It was great. I love it. Created a lot of good relationships. And then I decided to, my business partner in the deer farm over in Logan wasn't working out. We had differences of opinions. We ended up working out a deal where I bought the deer out and ended up building a deer farm. He kept the land in the deer farm, and I got the deer, and I built the deer farm right next to my preserve. So now I'm raising the deer, stocking the preserve, and
so were these
selling hunts.
These deer were at one point like fenced in? How do you get deer from this property to that property? It's not like cattle.
Yeah, so we trailer them. So we
Okay.
put them to sleep, put them in the trailer, and then we transport them.
Okay.
Yep.
How many head was that when you had to do that transport?
We do about 5 at a time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not too overwhelming.
No,
I
it's not.
suppose.
It's not bad. It's just a lot of trips.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we throw them out on 430 acres, and they live the life.
Okay.
And they basically do whatever they want on 430 acres. They propagate naturally, and we hunt them.
Yeah.
Sit in stands and we hunt them.
That's cool. And this is not just whitetail, right?
Yeah. So we
what is this?
mainly it's whitetail. We also have elk. We also have buffalo. We have fallow deer. And we have rams as well.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That sounds like fun. I'm gonna have to bring my son down.
Yeah,
there
it's
to
a
do it.
lot of fun.
That's so
my
cool.
boy loves it down there.
Really?
Yeah. It's a good getaway. It's 3.5 hours from here, so it's far enough to be a getaway, but it's close enough to where I can go back and forth
Yeah.
and work.
Now you have two different companies with two different names. I see your sweatshirt is Double Play.
Yep.
And
Double
then-
Play is the hunting preserve,
Okay.
and then Major League Whitetails is the breeding side of.
Okay.
So that's where we breed the whitetails.
So you are still breeding and selling.
Yes.
It's kind of dual purpose.
Yeah. So there's two sides of the industry. There's the breeder market, and then there's the stocker market. The stocker market is where they go and stock the preserves. So like so preserves buy these genetically superior deer to make their herd on their preserve that they want to hunt superior.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So the genetics on these preserves are, a lot of these preserves, they're big. There's a lot of acres. So the biggest thing about fencing them in is that you're leaving the genetically inferior deer out, and they're only propagating with very good genetic deer.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously you want to prevent the inbreeding. So you always introduce different buck lines.
Okay.
So
You were telling us before this that people are selling these deer for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them.
So a breeder buck, yeah, and it's just like the dog breeding industry, the horse breeding industry. Your top of the line genetics of a certain animal are always going to be very valuable because even in the deer industry, it's hard to grow big deer. Like you have to have the right genetics to grow big deer. Otherwise, you can, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you inject these deer with steroids and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we don't.
Okay.
Like, it's their genetic makeup that makes them big.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we try to put them in the less stressful environment possible.
Okay.
So like we keep the stress level down on them, and we feed them obviously the best nutrition. Guys that have their own property that hunt wild deer, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Their biggest thing is like, I want to feed these deer the best nutrition possible. I want to keep the stress level as minimal as possible. That's why they're predator hunting. They're not walking around in the woods all the time. Like they want the stress level of the deer to be low as possible, and that's what makes them grow big.
Yeah.
So
on the business side of this, if people want to come down and book a hunt, what's the process? Are there cabins on site and
yeah, so we have a lodge.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lodge that they can stay in. Meals and
provided?
All provided.
Yeah.
Meals, drinks, lodging.
Okay.
It's all provided. Yeah.
So it's like a one price deal for a few days or a week or whatever. And
well, the price varies on what you hunt.
Yeah.
So obviously,
okay.
the bigger the buck, the more expensive it is.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a 3-day, 3-night hunt.
Okay.
Yeah. And Yeah, they can go to our website. It's doubleplayhunting.com.
Doubleplayhunting.com. Yeah. Cool. I think some of our listeners, you're going to get some business off of that one. That's really cool. And it's in Ohio.
Yeah, it's Southeast Ohio.
Most of the time you think, I got to go to Colorado, I got to go out to Wyoming or something.
Yeah. It's beautiful habitat, and we have a good time.
Yeah,
and that's what I do it for. I love meeting new people, creating relationships with new people. Like, and to be honest with you, like one of our hunters, he was in the military. His wife left him, and he got into a really, really bad car accident.
Oh.
And life was kind of rough for him. And he came and hunted with us, and we talked for hours.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about his wreck, and he had a near-death experience. Like,
no way.
Yeah, it was crazy what he was talking to me about. But he's like, he told me afterwards, like him and I talk now, like he just can't thank us enough for, being so generous to him. And like, coming to our place was like a great getaway, makes him forget about everything. And it's like, you know what? That's kind of how it was for baseball too. Like, they tell us like we have 162 games, and it's like there's always, all those fans come to the game to escape the rigors of their life,
right?
The struggles of their life. They come to the game to get away from all that. So it's very important to us, important for them, for us to provide them that entertainment and that, so we have to give it everything we have, because
stewardship and hospitality. I mean,
of course
we love talking about that.
And,
that's awesome.
That's what it's all about. And, I just love doing it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how often do you actually get down to the property? Cause it's not where you live.
I try to get down there once a week.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You're traveling 3.5 hours once a week to go down there. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I can do that driving my sleep now.
Well, I bet you can. Yeah. We were talking before, and I have some property down in Kentucky, and we travel that. But my kids, they're like, "Oh, we got to go drive for 5 hours again," and
So my wife hates traveling like that, like in cars. She doesn't do really well.
Yeah.
So it's tough for her to get down. But my boy, like, he'll come at any chance. If he doesn't have hockey, doesn't have anything going on, no school, like he wants to go down there.
Cool. That's cool. How many hunts do you usually do a year with people?
So we did about 30 or so whitetails last year, and we have more than that booked this year. So
was last year your first year?
No, last year was our third year.
Oh, okay.
So this coming year will be our fourth year.
No kidding.
My first year I only had 12. So it was like
freaking out, like, is this gonna work?
Yeah, right. But it's anything. You just,
word of
any
mouth,
business, you got
reputation.
reputation, word of mouth. You got to grow.
Definitely.
Sounds like it's working.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And for me, it's like you got to treat people right. Like you got to do the
100%.
right thing. Like for me, it's not like a hard-nosed business. It's the hospitality.
Yeah,
it's treating people how I would want to be treated, and that's basically it. It's like if I was on a hunt, how would I want to be treated in this hunt? Like how would I want this hunt to go? And then that's how we do it.
Very cool. So that kind of transitions a little bit into this question that we tend to ask every one of our guests, and what is your superpower? And this is funny because I explain it to some people. Some people are like, what are you even talking about? It doesn't make any sense. But I always use Sean. Sean has grown up with ADHD.
Yeah, so
right?
they label it and they tag it as a negative.
Right.
But I use it. It very much serves me now to be able to jump.
Yeah.
And handle multiple things and get this done and move on to this thing quickly.
Right.
It's more of a perspective. Like I can allow it to drag me down and make it a challenge for me, or I can use it to propel what I'm good at and be better at it. It's a superpower.
Yeah, it's all perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I would love to hear what your thoughts on, like, what do you feel like maybe your superpower is? What do you do well, or something that you can look at and go, maybe I do that better than average. That's not pitching.
Man, I would probably have to say maybe empathy.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Really?
Like I always, especially in this day and age where there's just a lot of pushing and pulling, tugging, you got to be on this side, you got to be on that side.
A lot of division.
And it's like, man, just be empathetic. Like, just, okay, if I was in that situation, how would I feel if I was in their shoes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of these feelings are justified, a lot of them are not,
Yeah.
But just having that understanding before you like jump into something, just understanding where they sit with something before you go and jump down their throat, or
That's good.
Yeah.
you know
That's
what I'm
a good
saying?
one.
It's funny.
It's so hard that it's like people don't understand. You can listen to understand. They tag listening with agreeing.
Yeah, right.
You're not agreeing with it. You're not supporting it necessarily, but you're listening to understand where
Right,
they're
yeah.
coming from first, and just be okay with that.
Right, yeah.
It's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay to be different people.
Right.
People think listening is agreeing, and it's not.
It's not.
I mean,
It's not. Empathetic is not agreeing with them. It's just understanding where they come from,
Yeah.
and and that's the thing too. Like, I've dealt with so many different personalities in the big leagues, in the minor leagues.
Oh yeah.
I dealt with guys from tons of different countries: Japan, Korea, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican, all of them. And it's just like, what I learned is I learned, like, and a lot of them, it's like you sit back and watch them, you're like, that's not the way you're supposed to live your life. Like, what are you doing? But then you sit back and understand where they came from, and it's like, okay, there's a reason why he's acting that way, or there's a reason why he's doing things that way. Not that I'm agreeing that it's right, but
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
understand. So having that understanding before you go into, like, hey, have a talk with them, it's like it usually ends a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just like going in and attacking somebody and
Let
saying,
me fix you.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you what you need to do.
Yeah,
now, right?
exactly. Right. It doesn't work that way. So I think that's helped me throughout my career, and even now, it's like, with all the different personalities that are coming to hunt with at my preserve, it's like I have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people that kind of all walks of life, and understanding kind of where they come from. It helps me, guide them, on their hunt, and understand what they like, dislike, and
Yeah.
how to go about it.
Good.
I would say that's far more of a woman's capacity to be empathetic. You just
me
don't
a woman?
No, on the contrary, I think that's a more incredible superpower for a man
Yeah.
to be able
It
to
is.
have that empathy, because most guys are very rigid, very clear cut on their beliefs, and not willing to allow for that grace to be empathetic to the
Right.
people that you're around and communicating with.
Yeah.
And I would say it's an even greater superpower for a man.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's incredible.
it's not a weakness.
No.
It's definitely not a weakness, and it's like like a man, like for me, like I have my convictions, like my beliefs, and I'm firm on them.
Sure.
And they're grounded in what I believe is the best foundation we all have.
Yep.
But at the same time, you can't mistake an empathy as weakness, because empathy is, like we were talking before, it's understanding where people come from, but not falling away from your beliefs, and not saying what they're doing is okay. Like, empathetic to them doesn't mean that what they're doing is okay. It's just understanding where they come from.
You're processing conversation with logic and understanding instead of emotion.
Right. So
emotion is where
so
people
it's,
go
it's
back.
definitely not a weakness, because you can still be firm on what you
Yeah.
believe and still be empathetic.
I think
for
Jake,
sure.
you said it before, like the strength in silence sometimes. Like
Mm-hmm.
the definition of the way the world perceives a man is not really great necessarily for just leaning into all the way.
Right.
There are things about what world says a man is that are good, but there is a whole another level of true manhood that comes from composure, calmness, empathy, understanding,
Yeah.
silence sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's you're exuding
Yeah.
that, and I love to hear that
Well,
empathy.
it's having the capacity to be dangerous, but yet, I don't know, honing it in and
Yeah.
controlling it. That's true manhood to me, is that it's like you can be strong and not be able to control it, and you're just a bully. You're out of control. But if you're weak, then you're just weak. If you're strong and able to control yourself and harness it, that's power.
Yeah.
And I think when you speak to a boundary or a core value, I've done this. it was weird doing it even with my kids. Like I tell my boys, like, we don't cross this line.
Of course.
When I have to say those kinds of words, my boys listen. Because I'm pretty easygoing. I'm pretty understanding. I work with them most of the time. But when I get to that language, and even as calm as it is in my house, that tends to change things. And
Of
it's
course.
just that this is the man part. This is the boundary. We don't cross this, and then we're gonna have problems. So
Of course. And
totally
to be able
agree.
to control yourself, it's huge.
Yeah. You have a platform as a man. I mean, you maybe more so as an athlete and people recognize who you are and stuff, but as a man, you have a platform most primarily in your home to your kids, in front of them, how you treat your wife, and, so incredibly important, even at that level, to have empathy and grace and patience and show them what the power of silence can look like. Sean and I have some guys that we coach that are young men in newer marriages, and that's something that we really drive home to them, is that there's how you handle yourself at home is recognized by your wife and also primarily by your kids. And there's so much power in silence and patience and kindness and those things that the world says are weaknesses, and we tend to tell people that, I'm tough, I'm strong, I can handle anything. But, I feel like the power is in the patience and the silence.
Right. And there's a lot of times where things can get out of control. And like for me, I mean, there's a lot of times where I, was probably out of line disciplining my kids, but it's having that understanding to go back and, apologize, obviously talk to my wife. Sometimes she kind of hones me in and be like, hey, that you weren't right there.
Yeah.
But like having that relationship and like, understanding like, I can get out of control sometimes, and learning like, okay, I got to do a better job at like kind of containing myself, containing my anger, and be more intelligent about discipline. Be firm, but be more intelligent about it.
I've definitely
logical.
I
That's
came
so
up
real.
short.
Yeah.
I came up short a couple of times, and I know we've had the same conversation. Look, I'm sorry that I acted that way.
Right.
But I'm not sorry for what I said, just how I said it, how I delivered
course,
it. And
yeah.
so now my boys will pick on me.
Yeah.
So if they're given a message in church about, responding discipline correctly, being calm and speaking with love, Brett will sometimes he'll grab his hoodie. Because the one time he was downstairs and he's parenting his little brother, so he's down there screaming at his little brother. And it's morning, everybody's up, it's early. So I dart down the stairs, and I'm already up here. I'm like, you don't parent your little brother. So I grab Brett by his hoodie collar, and I pull him in this close to my face, And I'm like, stop screaming at your brother. You're not his parent, but I'm yelling at him. Got him by the hoodie. So,
I learned it from you, Dad.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, okay, hold on a second. So we had that moment, and then later on, I'm sitting with him, and I'm talking. I'm like, look, that's not how I want to set the example for you boys. I meant what I said. I just should have delivered it in a different tone.
Yep.
So now that's like, for him and I, now there's that understanding. I'm not perfect either. I want to be the best parent I can, but now I get teased about some of those moments.
right.
And it's good.
This is a good conversation. I think we could go on chatting for a long time if we want to. We want to keep this short enough for our listeners.
Yep.
So I would like to wrap up the podcast just asking, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that? I know we don't want to put phone numbers and things like that out there, but maybe drive them towards your business.
I'll put my phone number out there. I don't care. Honestly, I'm best through text.
Yeah.
My number's 419-615-0301. Just text me if you want to. Even if you want to tour the deer farm down there.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Like, how do people find out about that? And, because you have a crew that's down there handling a lot of that stuff. So if they want to go online, say, and book something, where do they go? What do they do?
They just book through us.
Okay.
My phone number, I think, is on the website, but I just gave you my phone number. Just text me, call me, whatever. Like I said, I'm best through text. Or they can call my farm manager. I believe his number is on the website as well.
Give us that website one more time.
It's doubleplayhunting.com.
Doubleplayhunting.com. Very cool.
Yeah, and the deer farm is right next to the preserve. So it's two entities, but it's in one.
I got to do it, man.
Cool.
I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I gotta bring
you guys
my
can
boy
come down, tour.
Yeah.
I'll give you a tour of the place. It's really neat.
He just got a new compound bow. We've been taking it out and shooting. And that kid, he wants to draw back in the house. He wants to carry it around with him all the time. I'm like, go put that thing away, man.
It's a nice bow.
It's a very nice bow. Got a Matthews.
Turkey season's coming up too. So
Yes.
I'm going to be bringing my boy down there to hunt some turkey.
Fun stuff. But anyway, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you so much, Jon, for coming and being with us. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I look forward to communications in the future back and forth about
Thanks for having me.
Stuff. And for all of our listeners, we want you guys to engage with us. Go check us out on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is the other one. We're on all those platforms. We would love to chat and interact. We are excited about things to come. We have other guests that are coming on and all sorts of stuff. So stay tuned, listen in. Hopefully you can gain some value from what we have to bring to the table as well as our guests. And we're thrilled to continue to bring people in every week or possibly every other week if Sean and I are doing some stuff in between. But anyway, we love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining us today on Courageous Stewards, where legacy meets leadership and faith fuels the journey.
If this episode stirred something in you, share it with someone who's ready to step boldly into their calling. Subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected as we continue to explore what it means to lead with conviction, serve with excellence, and build with eternity in mind.
So until next time, keep showing up, keep stewarding well, and remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's obedience in motion.